This is Paul Cezanne. He is a famous artist. He makes still life paintings. Still life paintings are paintings of things that stay still, like fruit on a table. In his style, he makes fruit with black outlines, he uses a line for the table, and he uses multiple colors on each piece of fruit. We're going to make an apple still life today. The materials you need today are a white paper and some crayons. If you have watercolors or markers and a paintbrush to make the watercolor trick, you could use those as well today. We're going to make Cezanne's apples. Cezanne put a bunch of apples on the table and he overlapped to show space. So what we're going to do is we're going to overlap. We're not just going to put 1, 2, 3 apples in a row. We're going to overlap. So first step, I'm going to make an apple and I want it to be about the size of my fist, and it could go right in the middle or off to the side. And it's just round. And then to turn this round circle into an apple, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little line. And there's an artist trick. To make the stem look like it goes right down inside the apple, all you do is put a little smile. And then it looks like the stem goes down into the apple. Now to put an apple behind this apple, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a letter C from one side of the apple to the other. And again, I'm going to do that artist trick, and I'm going to put a stem, a little line, and a smile. I want you to draw at least 3, 4, or 5 apples. So I'm going to do another one. So this one's behind because it's higher on the page. Maybe I'll do one lower and off by itself, not overlapping. And then I could do one behind this one on the other side, a backwards letter C. After you have 3, 4, or 5 apples, you're going to find the highest one on the page. That's the lowest. That's in the middle. Oh, these two are kind of like a tie. I think this one's the highest. And you're going to go to the middle of the apple and draw a line off to the side. We don't want these apples floating through outer space. We want them sitting on a table. So then you're going to jump over the apples and go off to the side. Everything under the line here is table. Everything over the line there is wall. And then when you color this, you're going to add, regardless if you use watercolors or not, you're going to color these and you're going to go in a curve motion. And apples come in 3 colors. They come in red, they come in yellow, and they come in green. And what we're going to do, just like Cezanne, instead of just doing plain red apples, we're going to put a little bit of green on the red apple. This is a great example of what I'm talking about. Cezanne adding different colors on his apples. I see red on that green apple in the middle. I see yellow on the red apple. And instead of doing plain yellow apples, I guess we'll do more green. Maybe a darker shade of green on that apple. And then on the green apple, maybe put a little bit of yellow. Light green, dark green. And I'm just coloring and I'm leaving space. Now if I was doing this all the way with crayon, I would just fill it completely in. But because I'm going to watercolor over, I'm just leaving space for watercolor. So this will shine through. So if you're using only crayons, when you do this, you're just going to keep going and color the entire apple. Okay, after you do that, it's time to watercolor. There's 2 ways you could watercolor. You could wake up your color in your watercolor set, or you can do that marker trick where you trace around the outside. And then you just wake up, color. You kind of have to massage it, but it fills it in. So that's one way to color your apples in today. Or you could use your watercolor set and then say, wake up yellow, and put the yellow over your red and green apple. And the colors stay, but they shine through. And then wake up green. I'm cleaning my brush in between. And now I have a really bright green apple. Clean my brush. Wake up yellow. Put it around on my apple. And then I have to do my background. Now, what I'm going to do for my background is I'm going to let my watercolors dry on my apples. And I'm going to, I don't want a plain boring tablecloth. I want an interesting one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pattern. I'm going to use my lines and colors to make a pattern. A pattern is something that repeats. So I'm going to think of two lines like a wiggly line and a dotted, dashed line. Again, starting at the top, wiggly, dashed. Uh-oh, I can't start at the top, so I'm going to have to start at the bottom of the apple. I'm filling up everything at the bottom to have that nice pattern. Going as high as I can on the page. Jumping over apples. So I have a fancy tablecloth for my background. Now, I could paint that with watercolor and my pattern will shine through, but I'm actually going to use the crayon technique where I found an unwrapped crayon and I'm just going to slide it on its side and it colors big areas very lightly and very quick. And I'm just going to put that around my apples. Okay, and then I could leave my white wall, or I could pick a color. In my kitchen, my wall is green, so I'm going to put some green on my wall. Okay, now all I have to do is sign it like an artist. Before you get started, I wanted to go over the steps again. Remember, you're going to draw the apples. You're going to draw 3, 4, or 5 apples on the table. Overlap them by making letter C's and rainbow-shaped apples. And when you do your apple, draw a circle and then the stem with that little artist trick, that smile. Then you're going to put them on a tabletop. Go to the middle of the highest apple on the page and draw a line across the back. Then you're going to start coloring in your apples. I'm showing you how I'm coloring my apples in with just crayon. You can do this project with just crayon, or you could use your watercolor trick with the markers or plain watercolor. When you color in your apples, don't just make them plain boring red apples. Put a little bit of yellow on your red apple, a little bit of green on your yellow apple, and a little bit of red on your green apple. Add multiple colors on each apple. After you're done coloring in nice and neat, make sure there's no white spaces on your apple. You're going to then add a pattern tablecloth. Patterns are repeating lines and colors. So pick 2 or 3 colors and lines to repeat to decorate your tabletop. You can also use your crayon unwrapped on its side to color in large spaces for your wall and table. And of course, don't forget, sign it like an artist. Okay, now it's your turn to work. I'll give you time to work, and then at the end, you can hold it up. If you're watching the recording, you can take a picture of this and send it to me on our Padlet. The Padlet link is on Schoology. I can't wait to see what you make.